Okay, let's unpack this. What if I told you, someday you might not need a body to live? We're taking a deep dive today into digital immortality, this really provocative idea that your unique consciousness, every thought, every memory, your whole personality could potentially be copied and stored somewhere, in a digital space. Imagine continuing to exist long after your biological body's, well, gone.
It's quite something. And what's truly fascinating here is how these concepts, which once felt like pure science fiction, are rapidly approaching the realm of possibility. For this deep dive, we've pulled insights from quite a range of sources, lively debates in transhumanist forums, some rigorous academic reviews, and the very concrete plans of real-world companies and these ambitious initiatives.
Right. So our mission is clear. We're going to unpack the proposed methods for actually achieving this digital existence. Then we need to grapple with those profound philosophical questions about identity, like, would the uploaded you truly be you? And finally, we'll weigh the huge hopes against the pretty significant risks of such a transformative technology. So let's start with the blueprint for forever, you could say. How might this astonishing feat of mind uploading actually work? At its core, the proposed technical processes are pretty mind-bending. First, there's brain mapping. Think about the sheer scale here. A human brain has, tens of billions of neurons? And trillions of connections between them.
Yeah, it's staggering.
Mapping this precisely would generate just exabytes of data. It's a monumental task, really pushing the boundaries of current scanning and storage tech.
Exactly. And once you somehow get that incredibly detailed map, the next step is simulation. This involves a supercomputer powerful enough to mimic the intricate functions of your entire brain, neuron by neuron, connection by connection.
Right. And the computing power needed for that in real time. It must be unbelievable.
Oh, it's staggering. We're not quite there yet.
And if you conquer those two massive hurdles, then comes the upload. So transferring that simulated mind into a new digital system could be a server, maybe a robotic body, or even a fully immersive virtual world.
And the goal.
The ultimate goal, of course, is interaction, that digital entity that you would then be able to think, feel, communicate, just as you do now.
It's incredible to consider. And, many researchers and companies are already working on the foundations. Take Martine Rothblatt's concept of mind files.
Yes, mind files.
Yeah, this involves collecting every shred of personal data you've ever generated, your photos, social media, forum posts, opinions, to create this comprehensive digital reflection of your unique self.
Okay.
Richard Granmoren, he actually captures this pretty succinctly with an equation.
Semantic analysis plus social internet use plus artificial intelligence. Immortality.
Semantic analysis. So that's like the AI understanding the meaning behind your words, your patterns. Precisely. Understanding the relationships in language, how you uniquely think and express yourself based on that digital footprint.
That's a fascinating way to frame it. Then you have companies like Nectome, right? Backed by MIT.
With that slogan.
Yeah. What if we told you we could back up your mind? Pretty provocative.
Very. They're actively researching chemical brain preservation methods. The idea is to retain the physical traces of memory for some future upload.
But, and this is crucial, their current process is fatal, right?
Yes, that's a vital point. It's not a live backup, at least not yet. And then, of course, there's Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Right, the brain chips.
While it's not explicitly designed for immortality per se, that kind of brain chip technology, well, it could be a crucial stepping stone for merging our minds directly with machines.
A building block.
Exactly. And we see a very clear, very ambitious roadmap in the Russian 2045 initiative, Dmitry Yatskov's project. They've outlined this step-by-step plan for transferring human consciousness, first into avatars, and then eventually into holograms.
Yes, their avatar project milestones, they're quite concrete, aren't they? They started with Avatar A, which was projected for, 2015, 2020?
That's right. A robotic body, remotely controlled via brain-computer interface, a BCI.
And we're kind of past that time frame now. Their next phase, Avatar B, aimed for 2020, 2025. That focuses on an avatar where a human brain is actually transplanted.
A whole brain transplant into a new body, essentially. A huge biological and ethical challenge.
No kidding. Moving forward, Avatar C, they call it Rebrain, targeted for 2030, 2035. That envisions an avatar with an artificial brain where a human personality is transferred.
So the personality upload step.
Yeah. And their ultimate goal, Avatar D, way out by 2040, 2045, is this hologram-like avatar.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these milestones, They really represent a systematic effort to bridge the biological and the digital. The Body B project within that initiative, for instance, it focuses on the really crucial aspects of brain life support, simulating metabolism, creating the ideal environment, figuring out transplantation.
The practicalities of keeping a brain alive outside the body.
Right, and also understanding how the brain interacts with the outside world, biochemistry, neural stimulation, building a two-way neural interface. Then, the Rebrain project is this massive undertaking to truly reverse engineer the human brain. Like, figure out every detail of how it functions.
Because you need that understanding to replicate.
Exactly. They believe it's a necessary foundation to then reproduce it artificially.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Because even if we somehow master the technical how, this bigger, more existential question just looms large. Who is that digital you? This gets us right into the heart of the identity conundrum. If you copy your mind, is that digital entity truly you, or is it just an identical copy?
Oh, absolutely. And this question, it definitely sparks conflicting viewpoints in the sources we looked at. Some argue pretty strongly that a direct mind transfer would either just fail, or if it worked, it would only create a copy.
Meaning the original you still dies?
Yeah, which is a pretty stark thought, isn't it? It reminds me of the classic ship of Theseus analogy that popped up in some Reddit discussions.
Ah, the ship paradox. Replace every plank.
Is it still the same ship? Exactly. Or, as someone on a forum pondered, what happens when an already digital mind gets transferred, say, to a new server? Is that another death?
Wow, it really makes your head spin.
But then you have others arguing, quite strongly actually, that if it's an exact all-encompassing copy, it is you. They draw parallels to, say, nightly lapses in consciousness during sleep. You wake up feeling like the same person.
Right, even though you were unconscious.
Or the fact that our cells are constantly being replaced in our biological bodies. We aren't the exact same physical stuff we were years ago, yet we feel a continuous sense of self.
That's a fair point.
The counter-argument, though, is that even a perfect biological clone would still be a distinct entity, right? Especially if both the original and the copy could somehow coexist.
Two separate streams of consciousness.
Exactly. So the real insight here, I think, is that digital immortality isn't just a technical challenge. It's a deeply philosophical one.
Yeah.
It forces us to really reconsider what identity even means when it's potentially detached from biology.
And it really makes you think about consciousness itself. What is it? One really fascinating perspective we came across suggests consciousness might just be an illusion, or, as some put it quite bluntly, like a bacteria that grows on meat, or maybe the tune your brain is playing.
A pattern, an emergent property.
Yeah. The idea is if consciousness isn't some mystical soul, but just a complex pattern, like a song played by the brain, then theoretically, advanced enough hardware could one day play that same tune. It could recreate the experience.
Oh, can we truly transfer something we don't fully understand? This raises a really important question.
Yeah.
David Pearce, a prominent transhumanist thinker, he's actually quite skeptical about replicating consciousness as we know it.
Okay, why is that?
He argues that while computers can run complex computations, they fundamentally lack subjective experience, sentience, that feeling of what it's like.
The qualia.
Precisely. He emphasizes that consciousness involves these qualitative, non-computational phenomena that current tech, and maybe even foreseeable tech, just can't replicate.
So if we don't even know how consciousness works fundamentally,
how can we expect to digitize it or transfer it? It's a really foundational challenge to the whole concept, a major hurdle.
Okay. So beyond the technical blueprints and these really deep dives into identity, there are also some pretty significant potential downsides, ethical dilemmas we have to consider.
Absolutely. The ethical and legal questions are just vast and complex. One provocative argument, particularly from Jack Lynch 1Q in a Polar review we looked at, introduces the specter of digital slavery.
Digital slavery. Wow, that's strong language.
It is. He frames certain digital industries as potentially leading to slavery, drawing parallels to historical conditions. Though, to be fair, he himself notes the criticisms of making a direct analogy, given the differences in lived experience.
Right, context matters.
But the core fear is real. The possibility of corporations owning your mind. Or maybe governments controlling digital uploads in authoritarian regimes.
That's a truly chilling thought, owning your consciousness.
And another major concern is the very real potential for loss of identity. If you're uploaded, are you still human? Or are you just a software?
Vulnerable software, maybe.
Exactly. Imagine the terrifying possibility of mind viruses or hacking. A digital existence could bring entirely new digital vulnerabilities.
Yikes. And what about access?
That's another big one. The persisting question of inequality. There's this common stereotype, which, by the way, the 2045 initiative actively tries to counter.
That only the super rich could afford immortality.
Precisely, leading to this profound new class divide between the mortals and the digital immortals.
And then there's the aftermath. What happens after someone is uploaded or their data is preserved?
Yeah, deep questions around postmortem privacy and grief. Who owns the data of the deceased? Should a digital copy be treated as a person with rights?
How does that affect mourning?
Exactly. How would AI grief technologies, the ones designed to let you interact with digital replicas of loved ones, how would they impact the natural, necessary process of grieving and closure? Does it help, or does it just prolong the pain?
It's an immense amount to grapple with, just huge implications.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, there are also these profound hopes and aspirations driving this whole pursuit. Right?
Oh, definitely. On the optimistic side, you have visionaries like Ray Kurzweil. He predicts we'll reach what he calls longevity escape velocity by the early 2030s.
Longevity escape velocity, meaning science starts adding more years to your life than you lose just by aging.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
He even envisions humans achieving 1,000,000-fold intelligence by 2045, possibly aided by nanobots working inside our capillaries.
Wow. 1,000,000 times smarter.
It's a bold prediction.
Yep.
And then there's the deeply personal hope, of curing death entirely. Being able to live with loved ones forever, maybe exploring virtual worlds eternally, or just preserving your mind for future generations to know you.
So, for some people, this isn't just about prolonging one individual life, but truly transforming existence itself.
Precisely. The 2045 initiative, for instance, they have even grander goals. They talk about global transformation, creating an entirely new scientific and philosophical paradigm for humanity.
Like what specifically?
Their vision includes achieving cosmic expansion, enabling everyone to become multi-bodied, extending our environment into multi-reality, and even controlling reality by thought.
Controlling reality by thought.
Yeah, creating a personal universe for each human, managing the course of history. It's ambitious, doesn't quite cover it.
No kidding.
And underpinning some of this is a strong argument we saw in some sources that delaying this kind of progress is actually dangerous. Many believe the mid-21st century is this critical turning point. We either reach a new level of existence or we risk returning to some kind of dark ages.
So there's an urgency.
An urgency, yeah, emphasizing the need for safe AI development and ways to prolong meaningful human existence.
So when you pull it all together, what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've delved into these mind-boggling technical ambitions of digital immortality, the identity crisis it sparks, the ethical minefields it lays bare, and the almost utopian dreams it inspires. This is clearly one of the most complex and profound topics humanity is grappling with, or starting to grapple with right now.
It truly raises fundamental questions, doesn't it? About the future of knowledge, the future of existence itself. We're definitely on an ongoing journey here with implications not just for individuals, but for the very definition of humanity and society as we know it.
So here's the final thought for you to ponder. If the day comes and a truly viable path to digital immortality exists, would you take it? And maybe just as important, what kind of immortality would you truly seek?